And now, Giant Sports Talk Live. Here are your hosts, Eric and Glenn.
We're talking Giants every day. From McCovey Cove to the Oracle Park lights, Eric and Glenn keep the fire burning bright, fighting for the glory, no matter what it costs us, breaking down the moments from the wins to the losses. Giant Sports Talk, we're here for the ride. Eric and Glenn with the fan base pride, talking dreams, will they contend? But we'll back the Giants till the very end. Let's go, Giants! Yes, yes, yes! Oh! Eric and Glenn breaking it down, all Giants all the time.
All right, welcome to Giant Sports Talk Live, the fourth and final postgame of today. Another four-gamer in the bag. Philadelphia Phillies, as the same with the Detroit Tigers, broke out their boomsticks. Ball was flying all over the place, not only inside the park, but we had one that almost left the park. Kyle Schwarber's big day, had a 2-home run day. They beat the Los Angeles Dodgers today, 8-1. Holy crap. To be honest with you, did not see that one coming. I thought the Dodgers are going to wind up taking it today, but hey, there you go. It's baseball, Glenn. What you think?
Things can happen, Eric. I said to you, and I thought you agreed with me, but I think we're just playing it out. Enjoy the games because the Blue Jays are the best team in the postseason. They've got it all, man.
They do.
They've got it all. They threw a bullpen game today, Eric. And what did I say? They scattered 4 hits in 8 innings.
Mm-hmm.
That was the bullpen game. That was the one you had to worry about, and they were dominant. They beat the Yankees. They played some tremendous ball. They're doing in the playoffs exactly what they did during the regular season, Eric. Batting the ball. They're getting good outings from the starters. The bullpen is enough to get by. We saw it again today, so I like what I saw from them today. So they oust the Yankees. Detroit. Where did they come from? I figure if Detroit, now I'm cheering for Detroit all of a sudden, because I think if Detroit, you guys can weigh in on it. This is just my takes, but I think if Detroit beats Seattle, Toronto's got an easy path to the World Series. And I think they're even better than the LA Dodgers, Eric. I don't know. The baseball today was pretty darn good. The Cubs had a chance to stay alive. They did. But I'll tell you what, they didn't make it easy because Milwaukee, they had their chance in the 8th inning and they blew it. So, I mean, every game played today had a little something. I mean, there was a high offense, good pitching, good defense, and so there's a little bit of everything if you poked your nose in it enough, Eric.
Yep. And you were talking about the bullpen. Blue, I need to ask you something I've been talking about with the Dodgers. Bullpen. If the starting pitching can't go deep, there's going to be an issue with that bullpen. We also talked about Kershaw and his ability, or I should say inability, to pitch effectively in the postseason. We saw it on display in today's game here, the nightcap, so to speak, with the Dodgers. I mean, it was bad. He gave up 4 earned. We could talk about this. Dave Roberts left him in there. Don't know why he left him in there to rot on the vine, so to speak. Glenn, what'd you think?
Well, nobody else would have been left in for that long. You say he may have done that. He may have been a victim. But I think he was a victim of his own manager, Eric. We saw every other manager this postseason yanking guys out when they gave up 1 hit. I mean, Kershaw. I mean, it's like, Jesus, what did he do? What did he do to deserve this? Because he didn't get the treatment. But you know what? Come to expect this. I mean, he's a lone gunman, but expect that from Dave Roberts, right? Expect that. Expect the unexpected, and for him, it's really not.
What'd you think, Lou? What'd you think of that last game?
Well, I'll just do a comment on the whole day. It was sort of
Yeah, go for it.
unpredictable. I'm sorry I actually had to work, so I missed some of your other calls. But every
Oh, good.
game, you got to remember, Seattle led 3-1, and all of a sudden,
Mhm.
boom, 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 they're down 9-3.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, to tell you the truth, had a chance in the eighth, but I thought, I'm not even sure what the hell happened on that safety squeeze where it screwed it up. It screwed the momentum. That one play might have changed the whole series because it was 4-2. They had two people on, one out. The guy, it was a nice safety squeeze, but the guy at third was so far, not even close. He was closer to third than home. That affected everything. And they had a chance in the 6th and the 8th. They just couldn't get the big hit. Then you go to the Blue Jay game. It was unbelievable. I think the Yankees had 2 hits until really late. So it was one of those things where the bats just didn't show up for the Yankees when they're against the wall. And then the Dodger game, 2 big errors sort of opened the cans. The game was close. I mean, Yamamoto only really gave up three runs on like 4 hits. But the thing with the Dodgers and these teams that lost, they just couldn't get the big hit when it counted. And, Philly did. And Philly, tell you the truth, Philly right now with the race tomorrow is going to have a huge advantage because if they win tomorrow, they then go back in a crazy, crazy Citizen Bank for game 5 where all the pressure is really on the Dodgers. So, but it was a big win. And the other thing, too, is you got to remember, Philly was the number 2 ranked. Philly is still showed the heart of a champion tonight, a little Rocky Balboa. And, they just weren't going to fall. But that's where in these games, when you have a chance, you got to bury these people, and except for you pulling out a gun and killing them, you get a chance. You're up 3 or 4-0. You got to keep adding on. And, it was just one of those things. And, what's exciting now is we only really lost 1 series, but we have 2 series tomorrow. And then we got another one on Friday. So playoff baseball at its finest.
Absolutely.
You know what? The Philadelphia Phillies early in the game, Lou, did you watch the game from its entirety?
I watched probably everything except, I believe, the 6th inning.
All right. So the game could have got out of hand early.
Yeah.
Marsh treated that first inning fly ball like I said to Eric. He didn't see it, I don't believe. I thought he treated like there was 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th, and it was a must catch, and the ball went right to the wall. He had no chance at it. Dove, missed his glove by about 3-4 feet, and then Mookie Betts was off to the races. Now, they didn't score him, and you know what? Those are situations where one play could have capitalized for the Dodgers and turned the game around early, gotten away from the Phillies. But tonight was a key, what Lou said. Tonight was, I think, a perfect situation, a perfect storm for the Phillies, Eric. Suarez was great out of the pen. They got enough out of the starter, and the bats, the guys who had to play well did. So I think it was a perfect storm. They've got to do that again for 2 more.
You know what, Glenn? And great point. And I think Philly has it within them to do it. It's just the first 2 games, they were MIA. And you got some great pitching performances. Nola was okay for 2 innings, and then Ranger comes in, and he just locked it down. Now, to be honest with you,
I thought that was a ballsy move.
Ballsy move by Thompson. Yes.
Well, we've been riding him the whole time saying, oh, my God. He literally could have gone down. It could have cost his job. But I thought bringing him in because it changed everything. Because, with Nola, he was shaky. The Dodgers had a chance. They just couldn't get the big hit. And then when Suarez came in, it was a different game. He had his stuff. He showed why he's, almost an ace. He knocked the Dodgers down. And all of a sudden it was like, oh, shit, we can't hit this guy.
And it's smart, Lou, because when you bring in Ranger, he's a lefty, and he neutralized all those lefty bats.
Completely agree. I thought it was how, like a lot of times a manager can lose the game. He won the game making that big move. Because remember, it was only the 3rd inning. And I agree. Nola, was shaky the first, second, but he says, hey, I gotta bring in a lefty. And I think that's a great point. He did what he could. And he lives for tomorrow. Like we said last night, there's no tomorrow. So he had to do whatever it takes to win that one game.
Yes.
Can I ask you something, Eric? Lou's making a great point about the gutsy move, right? But we've come to expect playoff baseball, even when your starter takes the mound, top of the first, gets the ball game underway. They treat it almost like a bullpen game, Eric. Doesn't matter whether it's your starter who starts the game. It's like a bullpen game, right? We've seen it already. We saw it in games like Craig Counsell pulling a guy when he was like, what was he coming out for?
Yeah, right.
So, let me ask you this. Let me throw this at both of you guys. We have seen so many changes in baseball and teams adapting to entirely different philosophy than what I grew up with. Baseball was somewhat normal then, and pitchers threw 110 pitches, 150 pitches. Do you think a manager or an organization is eventually going to step up and be a team that treats the season like we see in the postseason? They're going to change, and they'll become a team that adapts to using their bullpen throughout the whole game. Do you see someone that takes this and eventually adapts it to their entire game plan?
Yeah. I mean, it's a look.
I would love to hear what Eric had to say on that, because I thought he was going to come in firing on us, Lou. Well,
look,
while we get back
specifically and to talk to Lou's point, and you're going to have to. Yeah, I know. Yeah, to piggyback on what Lou said. Yeah, take two.
Okay,
this is it for the Phillies, right? If you're out of it, you're done. So you got to be aggressive to a certain way, and hey, it worked for him, right? You got Nola out there who you looked at his numbers, right? Was it a couple of post games ago? Wasn't fantastic. He was kind of wishy-washy, had a lot of injuries, but then he got enough out of him. Then he brings in Ranger Suarez, again, a gutsy move, but hey, it's win or go home. And the good thing, and then I must hit up Ibrahim. It says Schwarber is legit hot and out of his slump, game changer. And that's going to be huge for the Phillies, because not only if you're going to pitch, if you got guys like Schwarber who start getting on the hot streak at the right time, it could spell trouble for the LA Dodgers. I mean, the first home run he hit was absolutely nuked, almost left the damn park in right field. But this is what you got to, hey, we've talked about that. The guys who get to pay the big bucks got to step up in these big times. By the way, hey, Dodger fans, I'm going to have to come at you.
Ohtani.
How's Ohtani hitting, guys?
Yeah.
What's he doing out there? Come on. What's going on? Dodger fans. Look, he might come out and get hot, but he ain't doing shit right now. I'm sorry. He ain't. What has he done in this DS? He's got, one hit and an RBI, some shit like that? Come on.
Yeah.
He's got to do better than that. If you want to go for it, he's got to do
you
better.
think starting him? We all talked about this in the hot corner a week ago. Do you think starting him plays mental gymnastics with him at the plate, especially where he's a DH, and that is his sole purpose on the club is simply to step in every few innings and hit, and all of a sudden now he's a good pitcher. But do you think it plays mental gymnastics?
Maybe. And here's the part: who's starting tomorrow? It's not going to be Ohtani. I thought it was. Why would you throw Glass now? I mean, if I'm the Dodgers, I want to get it done in LA. I don't want to try to go to freaking Philly. And I would have started to Shohei Ohtani. He would have been on regular rest, right? If I'm not mistaken. I don't understand that one. Why would you go out there and throw Glass now tomorrow?
Well, there's another prime example, Eric, because you just saw Glass now. Didn't he just come in relief a couple of games ago?
Yeah.
The pitching in the postseason, it's a freaking free-for-all. Who knows?
Look, I get it. I get the weird moves if it's an elimination game, but teams are doing this in like the first and second game of the series.
Yeah, well, then they're going to eliminate themselves. Shenanigans, gimmicks. I don't like gimmicks,
Glenn,
Eric.
Yeah. And Glenn, to your question, I don't think you could do this over 162 games unless you have depth and a great farm system. But I could see maybe the last 50 games of the year, like something like the Giants should have maybe done something different where they only had the two starters, bring in the bullpen, because every win was valuable the last month of the season. The last month of the season, like we've talked about, if they got 4 more wins, they're in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think you bring up a great point. But again, these are best of 5s. So
Yes.
you're trying to do whatever you can to get 3. I don't think you can do it the whole season, but I think maybe the last 50 games, especially, when you only have maybe, like the biggest problem with the Giants and a lot of the people in the chat and everything, oh, God, we're only 3 games behind, but we had to jump 5 teams.
Correct.
So it's not really 3 games, and I think that's the key. But I think you bring up a great point. A lot of times they'll just stick the guinea pig in, long relief, because they want to save the bullpen, where that one game could have been the difference, And the one thing about the Dodgers is this is just like the Dodgers. They come out ugly. They don't look good. They're going against the ace for Philly tomorrow. And like usual, watch what will happen. The Dodgers just that team they can turn on. But the one thing is, I do want to say you can't blame Yamamoto. I mean, he retired the first 9 guys in order, didn't give up a hit. Then an error sort of opened it up, and that's the one thing. It's always these little things in the playoffs become huge. It was like if you watch the Dodger game, it was still close to Toronto. Of course, the giant bum comes in, gives up a hit, hits a batter, walks a batter. Before you know it, it's over. Yeah, of course. But I just think it's one of those. I just think it's one of those things where everything's magnified in the playoffs. It's because it's so critical. Strikeouts, walks, not getting a bunt down. All these things you remember because there's such big moments. I think I heard Bochy, one of his things is he did whatever he could to win in 9 innings. He never worried about extra innings because you got to get extra innings. Then you do whatever you have left, And I think what happens is a lot of these guys, I don't want to say they overthink it, but second inning, shit, we only have 7 more innings. We need to win. What can we do?
They're conservative.
So,
you got to almost empty you got to kind of empty the clip to win. It's almost like loser mentality to try to get it into extras, right?
Yeah.
Right. You want to win where you can. And to your point, Lou, freaking the Yankees had a double play ball. They would have got out of that inning. And what does Jazz do? Bounces it off of his freaking chest. And next thing you know, 2 more runs come across for the Blue Jays. And that was pretty much
and it's game. A big difference when you're down 2-1 or 3-1, and all of a sudden it's 5-1.
You go. That's why pitching and defense will take you along. It's not going to be the end all be all, but my God, it is going to pay dividends, especially in these short series. If you're playing fundamental baseball, you're playing clean baseball, you're going to reap the rewards of it, man.
Lou, you mentioned the fact that teams, especially because we follow the Giants and we do it on a nightly basis, day by day. I mean, spend 6 months of our pathetic lives following this team. Some of my buddies who follow the Jays up here, and they will dismiss exactly what you and I believe feel, and I want to get Eric's take on it. But if we lose a game in April, I always say to them, you can't win it in April, but you sure can freaking lose it. If you start pissing away games, and guys will say, geez, that was a tough loss last night, but it's not a big deal. I go, it's for every freaking loss should be a big deal. And that's why it really pisses me off when I see players who are, laughing in the dugout I get them off my team. I don't know if it's because of the money now in baseball, but players, they just don't seem to play with that 60s, 70s, 80s mentality where they were like freaking bulldogs. I mean, it was win or not in the playoffs, win or go home in the regular season. Get the hell out of here. And I just find baseball today, they don't have that killer instinct anymore, Lou.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, I'll bring it up. I remember one of the Giants' worst losses of the year was our closer. We gave up 5 runs against Anaheim Angels, or Los Angeles of Anaheim Angels.
Oh, geez.
Right?
The Ryan
on
Walker
a Sunday, the Walker. And then it led to 3 losses. And I don't know if you remember, the Giants had these streaks where they would lose 3. We'd win maybe 2 out of 3, but then we lose 5. So it wasn't really a 10-game losing streak. But, yeah, you lost 6 games in the standings. And I think the way some of these losses, hey, you're going to lose. Okay, it happens. But some of these losses stick in your mind. Walker, he was never really effective the whole year. He'd have one blow up somewhere, and we knew it. It was just a matter of time. And I think sometimes, the same thing, Chapman would come up, bases loaded. We just need a sacrifice fly, a strikeout. All these losses sort of add up. It was sort of the thing. I probably could remember 10 losses that we shouldn't have had if we would have had a better closer, didn't have bad errors, bad running games. And if you just won half those, that's the big difference. Instead of you go 10, now you're 5-5.
But Lou, there you go. It's not about they lost it. They weren't, you know what? I mean, again, there's the other side of the flip side of that coin. There were times during the season we just weren't good enough to have won those games.
Agree there too. When you think of like the Giants, the two biggest hits of the year, one was an inside the park homer, but we lost the next day 13-1. That was against Philly. Then the grand slam, we lost the next day 7-0. So really, those big exciting things don't mean anything.
Where's the momentum? Where's the momentum, Lou?
And here's another thing. Talking about Giants, think about it. If Ryan Walker converted 3 of those saves, Giants were in the third wild card. Let's go back to that homestand when we lost. We got swept by the Pirates and by the Marlins.
Florida, 1-5.
Yeah, those two series.
Won 3 of those games.
That's stand out.
That's +6 in the win column, right?
We'll be talking about those 2 series for years to come, though. That's what I'm saying. Look, a monumental period.
We're crying over spilled milk. I get it, but my God, that's what I'm just saying. That's how close the Giants were. And look, how deep they would have gotten the playoffs, we don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, because they're not in there, so we just don't know.
And you know what, Lou? Let me add something else, Eric. Lou, you mentioned it one night because you remembered I was there. And I that little girl, she wasn't a little girl, she was like 12, 13 years old. She came, I can't remember, England, Ireland, Wales, somewhere. They were on a vacation.
That was on the day after the inside the park homer to see Bailey play.
Yes. And again, he sat because he played the night before and he's a catcher and a lot of, blah, 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 blah. Overpaid freaking players, right?
Yep.
I got to ask you, Lou. We had won the night before in a thriller where he stepped up and won it. What happens to momentum when you take him out of the ball game the next day?
It's sort of the same thing. I'll use an analogy, NBA. Stephen Curry goes for 50, including the winning hoop. But since it's back-to-back the next day, they sit him. And you also just have it, oh, my God, Steph's not playing. Their head's down. They already think they're going to lose. And, it's such a killer, I mean, we're lucky baseball, there's 162 games. In the NBA, there's only 82. So even the tough losses are even more magnified, and it's sort of like, one of the things about baseball playoffs and the great part about it is the Dodgers, they didn't play well tonight. The better team won. And now you're really going to see, can the Dodgers step up and be who we all think they are? That's the one thing about this year. They didn't play the regular season. It was all about getting healthy for the playoffs. Now they got knocked out tonight. And thank God it was only a standing 8 because they get to battle tomorrow. But, they're sort of up against it. And,
I'm not going to lose any.
You're not going to lose any sleep. But I'm just saying it's sort of good that the thing tomorrow, that's the weird part, is it's a 3:00 start. So that means the shadow's going to be there.
Right.
The pitchers all have the advantage. So right now, if I'm a Dodger fan, I'm going, oh my God, we just came off a tough L. We got to go against their ace, and it's going to be tough in the first 5 innings because the glare. It's 3:00. I mean, you could see it like the Cub game today was very weird. Like in the 4th inning, once the sun sort of left, it was a completely different thing.
The wind was whipping.
Yeah. So
I said that to Eric. If you watch the guys who were carrying on to the left of the screen, they were standing there. They stood the whole game, right? And everybody was in like beautiful, like early fall attire. But then by the 9th inning, I saw they were all bundled up. I mean, they looked like that the political character, right? He had his mittens and he had his hat on, and oh my God, they looked cold there.
Yeah, and even the first 3 innings in Chicago and you got a fly ball. I mean, it's like a mystery. Some of these guys
is.
just don't see it because they're not used to playing at that time of the day, too. That's the other thing.
Good point.
You know, you don't see too many games during the year that start at 3:08. You know, usually
how about
games like in the 8th inning. So
that Seattle-Detroit game, I only caught just bits and pieces because I was busy, but it's weird watching playoff baseball in the middle of the afternoon. It's just, it just doesn't look right. I'm used to seeing it evening time. Yeah, now maybe dusk into the evening, not mid-afternoon.
I don't know about you guys, but the first round where it's 2 out of 3 and we had 4 and 4, I kind of look forward to that. It's a great way to start. Lots of ball. But here we are a round later. You know, I hate to say it, boys, but I'll admit it. I'm getting a little burnt out today. Like 4 games. I mean, there's no reason why you weren't playing either National League and then American League and American League, or split them up. A National League game and an American League game, and then off like bye days. But this 4 games again today. I mean, then we got
2 tomorrow. And then
we could have one Friday.
Yeah.
No, we are having one Friday, right?
Yeah, the American League game.
The American League game goes Friday. That's right. I thought that was tomorrow. Somebody mentioned in the chat. But what did you take from today, the games you did see, Eric?
I tell you, the ones I got to see the most was the last 2. That Yankee, speaking of which, talking about the Yankees, did you see this clip? The manager.
The one I sent you? Oh, okay. No, boom.
John Schneider. Listen to what he said. Again, for those of you who don't know already, Toronto Blue Jays beat the New York Yankees 5-2. They are moving on to the ALCS, but this is great. Listen to what he had to say.
Okay, hey, ready? Every single one of you fucking bullpen game, Nathan Lucas, Miles Straw, all you motherfuckers, it takes everybody every day. Start spreading the news, bitches.
Now you can't. When you see Bob Melvin, did you see Bob Melvin doing that?
No. Start spreading the news, bitches, he says. Oh my God. Dude, that guy, do you see? Okay, there's a difference here, right? He knows his baseball and he knows how to motivate his guys, right? That was awesome. Did you hear what he said? An MF and bullpen game. All these other guys come through. What did he say? Playing hard every day, something to that effect, right?
Yeah, they do.
I love it. That's the attitude. You got to go out there and win every day, especially in the postseason, because you just never know, man.
Now, Eric, we're very lucky he's not in Montreal because that's regular French he spoke, not Quebec French, because some of the people might not have understood Quebec French if they played in Montreal. Glenn understands the joke, being in Toronto. No, hey, you know what? I think what's great too, I think what's great too, it's a fresh team. Toronto.
It is.
You know, where, people forget because they're probably too young on the chat. When Joe Carter got the big hit, Toronto at one time, especially when they had Steve, it was Toronto and the A's. They dominated for so long. And now, again, Toronto, it's sort of funny. They were the ones beside the Giants that always tried to get Judge, tried to get the big superstar. They said they were going to spend money. They couldn't get him. So they went a different direction. And now, they're 4 wins away of being in the World Series again.
Guess what they did, Lou? They picked a lane.
Yeah.
They picked a lane.
And
like I said, didn't I say to you the other night, Eric? Sorry, didn't I say to you the other night that before the series, actually, I think it was before the postseason, but then just prior to the Yankees series with the Jays, I said, Eric, a lot of people who watch baseball, especially Giant fans and National League fans, I said, you're going to look at that Jays roster. And you're going to say, who's that? Who's this guy? And I said, they'll be household. You'll know these names by the end of the postseason. And you see why.
Yeah, and you got to remember, Bichette didn't play the whole series, and they still won.
I tell you what, I'm going to play something for you. I was following, as I was watching the game, I was also watching John Boy on YouTube. These guys are great, by the way, if you guys don't know.
Did you see the thing I sent you, Eric? Number one.
Yeah, with Big Nick.
Yeah,
Big Nick. Yeah, I'll play that here in a bit too. But listen to what they had to say. Tell me if you clue in on it.
Come on, Cody.
That was a
ball. Fun year except the summer and the playoffs.
Listen.
I say we hire the Blue Jays hitting coach.
David,
I would love.
he doesn't agree with their philosophy.
Yeah, change the philosophy. They are fucking good at hitting. As a team. They do what the inning needs.
There you go.
And they've got a whole lineup of clutch hitters, Eric.
There you go. See, even Yankees fans are understanding.
Exactly
It's
like
not
Milwaukee
just
Brewers.
about the long ball. It's about making contact. Gosh, I've been talking about this since I was blue in my face. I like that style of baseball. You make contact, the home runs will come.
Yeah,
But if you're just out there trying to make contact, that's what Blue Jays did all season long.
Eric, and the Brewers are sort of the same way, but what's good is their 9 players that start all know their job. Okay,
Yes.
Vladdy leads off. Let's get it going. Okay, so Bochette's not batting second. Now they got, hey, let's just get on. Let's do this. My job is to get the runner over. The third guy, hey, less than 2 outs. Sacrifice fly, need to make contact so the run can score. Everyone knows their job. And I think it's key. And again, we're talking about making the defense beat you. Put the pressure on the defense. The number 1 seeds of both. Milwaukee does that. They're the number 1 hitting team in the National League, and Toronto in the American League. That's what the Giants need to strive for. Not the strikeouts, not the home run balls. And
here's the thing. I'm going to ask both you and Glenn. Do you think baseball is going to start changing? Hey, look, the beauty about the Toronto Blue Jays and the Milwaukee Brewers being in the postseason and the Milwaukee Brewers possibly moving on to the CS is you're seeing a style of baseball that works. Maybe teams are going to go, you know what? Hey, how about that? That shit works. Shit it's only been part of baseball for 150 damn years. Maybe you need to start going back to that type of concept where let's just get the bat on the ball and let's see what happens instead of going out there swinging for the fences. Because when you get in a short series, right, if you're not on a quote unquote heater, it's going to be bad for that team.
But maybe the San Francisco Giants could actually do something that should be done in Major League Baseball. Treat the minor league system not like you're going to build up players you're going to replenish your lineup. Run your minor league system and your scouting department as its own separate business. Strive to be the best, like the Dodgers and the Blue Jays. Blue Jays have been known throughout the years, going back to, like Lou said, back to the Pat Borders and when they were winning World Series in the 90s, Eric. You know what? They had a minor league system. They were scouting players. They were Latin America. They were one of the first teams that did that, by the way. Blue Jays were creative, and it works. And I just find the Giants, I mean, have you ever heard me use the term? We're stale. We're just stale.
It's not just the Giants. There's a lot of teams. It's a philosophy in MLB. All these teams want to go out there and slug and slug and slug. It's the 3 true outcomes. Now, the difference is the Brewers and the Blue Jays, they have a little bit of a different philosophy. Now, did they draft that years ago? No, they didn't. They just happen to find guys that, hey, they make contact. I think we can make this work. Again, it's about approach, right? If you're a professional ball player, you should be able to go out there and figure out quote unquote an approach. You got to the big leagues for a reason, and that means you were good at hitting the ball if you're a position player. So just don't worry about trying to kill the ball. Go out there, make some damn contact, move the line along, and you get. And then, of course, if you pitch and catch the ball, man, you're gonna you're cooking with gas.
Eric, and not to blow the horn. Wait a second, Luke. Not to blow the horn of my own player, my favorite guy, Wilmer Flores. But on the San Francisco Giants, Wilmer was the only guy who had a 2-strike approach. Every player on that Jays team, did you see how many the entire postseason so far? Dude, they were picking, lefties were hitting it over to the right side and vice versa. And they were picking their spots, Eric.
There was 3 guys on the Giants, actually. 3 guys on the Giants that did exactly what you said.
Professional hitters.
Wilmer Flores, Dominic Smith, and Rafi Devers. Now, Rafi Devers, I swear, every time he got into an account, it would go full. Almost he could be down 0-2, and next thing you know, it's a full count. Now, did he always get a hit? No, but he worked the count. To be honest with you, Elliot Ramos is kind of in that same mold. Maybe he gets a little bit better at that. But Dom Smith, Wilmer Flores, and Devers can do that. Now, the thing I liked about Dom Smith is he would go the other way. Right. Or he would pull. If he's a lefty, he would go to right field. Sometimes he would pull the ball. But to your point, what Wilmer Flores was so good at doing, and same thing with Buster Posey when he was playing, when they could take that right field approach, man, that's just butter. It's just butter, man. I love watching that stuff. And maybe the Giants get back to it. Hey, let's get to the super chat. Ibrahim.
And now, another Giant Sports Talk Live Super Chat.
Thanks, Ibrahim, man. Appreciate that. $10. Volpe and Dominguez, cautionary tales on prospects. Some of the most highly touted. Ask Yankee fans about them now. Great point. Right? Volpe, oh my God. He was not very good in this series. He wasn't. Listening to John Boy and crew, boy, they were not pleased with the play of Volpe. And Dominguez, we had 1 at-bat? I mean, he got a double, but I think wasn't that his only at-bat in the entire series?
I think
and
so.
It's just, look, it's nice. And Lou, this kind of goes to your point with young Bryce Eldridge. Sometimes they excited about a prospect. Uh-oh. When you get too excited about a prospect, you could get let down. You got to take it with, as Ibrahim said, you got to be a little bit cautious with these guys until they start showing it. It's like, yeah, you could be all up in arms about them, but until they're out there proving it at the MLB level, you just don't know what they may have.
Well, you could be talking about Eldridge, Eric, but the problem with the Giants is we're not just worried about plugging one spot. I mean, look at the Jays and names we don't necessarily, well, I do, but most people in baseball wouldn't recognize unless they're watching the playoffs on a nightly basis. You're starting to, right. Nathan Lukes. Everybody's going, who? Geez, he had a good game. Who the hell's that? But Eric, we don't have a Nathan Lukes. We got a bunch of guys we got too many holes to fill this offseason. And to your point, you said you can't rebuild it in a year. This is why this is going to take some time, Eric.
It could. No, there's no doubt. But let's see what Buster Posey does. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All those guys in our chat, Eric, who've been so fired up about what has Kyle Tucker been doing, Eric?
Not much.
Oh.
Not much.
Eric and Glenn,
he got picked up today.
Yeah, I think the key thing is when you talk about Milwaukee and Toronto, they create their own rallies. They don't need help from the defense. And that's
Correct.
The big thing. And I think when we really think about baseball in the last 4 years, and this is where Milwaukee and Toronto are probably ahead of the group, and you're bringing up a great point, the bullpens have changed. You used to have guys that threw 90, 95 miles an hour, right? Now they throw 99, 105 miles an hour.
Yeah,
so we're still going in where it's all about the range of the bat, where we try to hit homers. Now there's more strikeouts. Nobody's hitting for average. But if you look at Milwaukee and their whole team, and you look at Toronto, they all have guys that have adapted to the pitcher and are hitting for averages. So it is possible. You know, like I look at this and I think, hey, the best free agent out there is what's his name? Arise from San Diego.
Oh, Arias.
They need someone like that, you know, that we don't have. I think Glenn, you bring up a great point with Wilmer. You know, he doesn't try to hit homers. He just tries to make solid line drives, base hits. That's his mentality. And he's very good at it, especially at his age, because he's actually a hitter, not
he
a
has
swinger.
A two-strike approach, Lou. A two-strike approach where he would try to go between first and second.
He'll shorten up a swing. Shorten up a swing.
You know, and, you know, we all talk about probably the best hitter of our generation, Bonds. he choked up.
Mhm.
People forget Barry Bonds choked up because he had better back control. These
Yes.
guys go up there and they swing as hard as they can all the time. It doesn't matter
Yep.
if it's 0-0 or 2-2. So I think this might be something, Eric, you bring up a great point, because especially late in the game, these guys are incredible pitchers. I mean, you watch them. How can you hit 103-mile-an-hour fastball? How can you do
Right.
it? The ball literally comes off and it's already there. That's where these guys that are so used to just making contact, line drives. Growing up playing baseball, it was all about just making contact and line drives. The homers are going to come to you. The gappers are going to come to you. As Dan would always say, we should change the ballpark. Well, no, you got to get personnel that fits the ballpark. And I
That's
think
correct.
that's the biggest problem with the Giants.
True.
If you look at Milwaukee, I'll just say Milwaukee, they have a ballpark. They got rid of Adames, obviously for a reason. Okay. They now have guys that are contact hitters. They got a chance to go to the dance. You look at Toronto, and they're missing probably the third best player, I'll say. They create an alley. I mean, the thing about Toronto, before you know it, you blink an eye, you go to the men's room for a second, they have 3 guys on. It's like a walk and 2 hits. Now they have their big boppers, and then that's the difference when the Giants are 1-7 in runners in scoring position. You give it to Toronto, they're 7. They'll be 3 for 7, and then that's the difference between winning a game and then losing a game.
Now that we're going to see the Blue Jays play on a consistent base, you're going to see the Jays play more. So you're going to learn more about them, Eric, Lou, and everybody in the chat. And you guys, I want you to do me a favor. When you're watching the Blue Jays play, keep this in the back of your mind when you're watching. And think of what I always said about the Giants and what they did the first week of the season and threw out the philosophy. You watch how a guy can go from first to third on that team and how many times you'll look and go, geez, Glenn Call, geez, another inning. They got a guy at first and third, because the guy on a hit, they're not settling for second.
No.
Now there's an occasional sit like today. I think there was a play today where Judge got the ball and threw a BB. The guy broke.
You got to give credit
Carter.
to. You got.
But they're working. Yeah. They create. Listen, you got to get breaks, but you can create your own breaks.
You can.
The other thing I love about Toronto is when you do hit a homer, they get lucky. I love the jacket. Giants don't have anything like that. When you get a homer, they have nothing. They don't think of these things because you see how excited they are. We have the little TP and we throw the sunflower seeds. That's horrible. I like it where they get a jacket. Like as soon as Guerrero hits a homer, he goes, "Where in the hell's my jacket?" And then, it lists. I mean, it's something unique, but that's not why they have the jacket. It's something that builds the team. Everyone's involved. I mean, if you ever see when someone gets the first homer of the year, the whole team goes crazy. Because they want them to be part of it. And really, that's the definition of being a team or just playing for a check. And I thought sometimes they share with the Giants, there were guys that were just playing for the check.
Yeah. Yeah, just the way they look. Hey, we got a new person here, Roseman Carino. I haven't seen you in here before, Roseman. Welcome to the Fraternity we call Giant Sports Talk Live. Said Dodger fan here. I think we're done. What? He says what? I think we're done. Glasnow has great stuff, but he's very inconsistent. Yes. The momentum has changed, to be honest. Tomorrow is a must-win game. I do not want to go back to Philadelphia. Can't blame you.
That's fine. That's fine to say tomorrow you don't want to go back to Philly, but you're up 2 games to none in the best of 5. Calm the
Hey, it happens.
Down.
Well, 2 games to 1 now.
Eric bought up.
Show. Says
about Philadelphia. Like I said earlier, I think Philadelphia played a well-rounded, as perfect a game as they could play today.
They did.
You're going to have to roll the dice and hope all this falls into place again for 2 more against the Dodgers.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of factors that got the tumblers, as I say, got to fall into place for them to come back in this.
Eric brought it up the other day when the Giants went to Cincinnati and won the last 3 games. The other night. He says it's happening. That's why they play the games.
And I'm sorry, I said this before. Yes, the Dodgers were hot there for a while, but I'm telling you, they are vulnerable. They are. I mean, yes, the starting pitching is decent, and but the thing is if the starting pitching stumbles at all, the Dodgers are going to have a tough time. If they could get to the 6th inning, they're kind of in a good spot. But if you're having, like, Yamamoto only goes 4, you're asking for trouble for that bullpen. And look what happened. They bring out Kershaw, and he absolutely just shit the bed. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, that was absolutely horrendous. Ibrahim, Giants need a giant gold chain that says ass, and you have to wear every time you strike out. That would help reduce shaming. There you go.
Carrying all that weight. I love it.
Oh my gosh. When is Snell? That's another good thing. Maybe Snell's going to pitch game 5. If it goes to a game 5, it's probably going to be Snell. I still don't understand why they're not throwing Ohtani. Right? Doesn't it make sense for Ohtani? You know what may happen?
He'll pitch tomorrow if
Glasnow, if he starts shitting the bed, they're going to bring in Shohei.
Yeah.
But then
you can't use him then in game 5.
And then you can't use him in game 5. That's a great point.
That's also the advantage winning 2 on the road to start.
That helps.
Yeah, it helps. But no, you know what's so great about baseball is you never know. When you think you know baseball and the results, it just boggles the mind. And that's what makes the sport so unique. It's unlike any other sport there is.
Oh, you know what's funny? And I don't know if you know about this. Marty Lurie in his documentary, him and his partner, Michael Gaines, they were getting into the betting stuff years ago. And they had like a little business, right? Where they would bet on games, and they had this formula and all this stuff. Come to find out, right? It was good for a while. And then all of a sudden, it didn't work no more. And then they were losing money. That's the thing about baseball. It's really hard. It'll humble you, right? You just, as much as you think you know, all it takes is a weird bounce ball and everything changes. I think that's why we love this game so much.
I agree. And I'm excited tomorrow. I mean, they're going to be very, and again, I'm a much bigger National League fan because, we get to see them in the Giants. 2 riveting games tomorrow. The Brewers had a chance today to knock the Cubs out. Didn't. The confines going to be crazy like we talked about. And then, with the Dodgers, and especially I love that one Philly fan. Did you see him? He had his whole now there's a real fan. The guy had the
baseball
face, everything, and his team's down 2-0. He didn't care. He's there to support his team. And that's what the real fans are. And then, Eric, I've never seen the 3 amigos, those guys with the Yankees that lost. What a great way. They watch the game. They have people criticizing them. They probably have a couple thousand followers. So they get paid to watch Yankee baseball and criticize. What a great idea.
Ain't that something? I love watching them because they cover the Yankees. Oh, the reactions that they have is absolutely hilarious. NorCal wants to know the schedule. There it is tomorrow. 3:08 for the Phillies and Dodgers and 6:08 for Milwaukee. They have not announced their starting pitchers, so that's going to be interesting. Sanchez going for Philly and Tyler Glasnow. We'll just say a starting for the Dodgers. But yeah, how about that? And you said you like National League baseball. Do you think Toronto Blue Jays is like National League, even though they're in America?
It is. They're like old school National League. They sort of remind me
baseball
of sort of how the Cardinals were in the 80s.
Yes.
They would hit the ball. 80s. They would use the speed. They would use the back then there was artificial turf, but they did whatever the advantage was. They steal the base, they bunt over, they hit behind the runner, they use sacrifice flies. And the thing they could is they have a team where they don't strike out. So you can do that. And that's a big advantage when you get guys that can actually have bat control. That it's such a big thing, and if you look at all the teams that were in the playoffs that got eliminated, a lot of these teams had holes like San Diego. When you think of them, they struck out way too much, and it's hard. It's no good if you don't get a rally only in the top of the 9th, and then the umpire makes one bad call, and then you feel like they screwed you. You got to be consistent. And the other thing about these teams that are still remaining, it doesn't matter after the 3rd batter. 4 through 9 are just capable as 1 through 3. It's 9 guys that can hurt you at any time.
Right. Yeah. When you have that's a deep lineup. And what I mean by deep, they give you good, hard at bats, and they're going to put the bat on the ball. I mean, that's how when the game was first
created. Yeah.
It was just about putting the ball in play and running around the bases and trying to catch it and all this other stuff. That's what I love watching that. I love watching guys put the ball in play, see what the defense does. And if maybe the batter can outrun it, maybe there's a bobble somewhere. And next thing you know, the guy is safe. He steals second. Next thing you know, the guy hits a single and they ruin score. I mean, it's just,
and again, today there were a lot of plays throughout. Like I saw Judge made an incredible play. And I think the guy for the Cubs, where they had bases loaded, and it was a shot down the line where if they don't get them, 2 or 3 runs score. Got to put the pressure on the defense. Hit it where they're not. And you know what? If the guy makes an incredible catch, salute your cap. But 85% of the time, he's not going to get that ball. And all of a sudden, there's a rally. The big thing about rallies is when somebody hits a 3-run homer, the rally stops. But if you get 5 or 6 straight singles, my God, it's like a tidal wave. And
you know what it also does too?
Hitting's contagious.
It is. And it also puts more pressure on the pitcher because now he's stressing. It might be a high.
How the hell are they hitting that ball? That was a slider 2 feet out.
And it's messing with their head. Right. And then you're keeping them in the game a little bit longer. And then you wallop them. And gosh, it's just so much fun. And don't get me wrong. It's a home run. It's exciting. Don't get me wrong. But my gosh, I just love seeing, as you said, National League Baseball, small ball, whatever you want to call it. It's fun. Glenn, we were just talking about how the Toronto Blue Jays, very similar to National League Baseball.
Oh, very much so. Very, very much so. And again, I think there's a difference. There are hitters. There are guys who take at bats, and then there are collective groups like the Blue Jays. Lou mentioned Milwaukee, that are professional hitters. A la the names you mentioned, I mentioned, Lou mentioned.
Yeah, Flores
Wilmer,
is a professional hitter.
Devers.
Flores is a professional hitter because he's done it and he's proven himself every year to be a solid hitter.
And when you take that approach too, guys, you wonder why we always seem to. How many times have you, Eric, thrown out? Oh, Wilmer Flores, he's the best hitter off the bench. He's clutch. Why? Because that's his approach. He knows how to hit.
Yeah.
When you're not, you can't, guys are up there too often. They're just. I mean, do you think Bailey is a professional hitter? Of course not. He gets up there. He's flailing away. My God, it's embarrassing almost. You feel bad for the guy. We need to take the approach where get in the lane and get me some good players. And Lou, I don't know if you heard me say this last week. I don't know if you'll agree with this. Everybody says, we've got to build around Adames and Chapman, our stars. I'm like, no, hell, we got to put stars around Adames and Chapman, etc. Because they're not stars to build around, in my opinion.
Adames and Chapman would make a star or somebody close to it to a star, the protection. It's sort of like, we talked about with the Yankees, Grissom. I didn't think he was that good with Florida. But my God, when he's around on the Yankee team and he's got help, my God, this guy's a stud. Yeah, he's a complete stud. But when he was in Florida, where he had to basically hold the whole entire team on his back, he couldn't do it. And I think that's the key where, Adames and Chapman are good. I don't want to say role players are better than that. But imagine if they were around someone like Judge, where they were protecting Judge. Oh, my God. And they don't have to do everything. Yeah, then they would be a lot better. The problem is Giants can't get that guy. Now, with Devers,
that's huge.
He's there. But imagine if we just had a contact hitter protecting Devers and we didn't need Adames and Chapman doing it. Now we have a team where, you know what? Instead of us maybe being 2 or 3 deep, now we're 7 deep. I think one of the things about the Giants we talked about is, I don't know how many times, 7, 8, 9, we're like 1 for 10 with like 8 strikeouts.
Right,
And,
right.
you know, you got to be able to sometimes flip the 7, 8, 9 over to 1 and 2 so you have a chance. You know, we just didn't do that too much. You know, it would be all right. You know, Ramos, he's 0 for 2, and we're in the 5th inning. Well, dude, we got to get, you got to get people. Plus, you got an opportunity where you get these veteran guys that can hit. Like the one thing about Devers is you want to watch him hit.
Yeah.
Right. You knew with that stance and everything, like, dude, this guy, if he hits it, he might do something special. Nobody else on the Giants, you would stick around. Now, again,
I'm glad.
I
I'm
think
glad you
Flores
threw out the name. Go ahead.
I thought Flores was great to begin with, but he's not a full season guy at his age. He was great in the beginning. He carried the Giants, but at the point, in his age and everything, nobody else really followed. Then you had Adames that went through his streak, but nobody did anything when Adames had his streak. They got to have it where they can do it together, constant, and I think that's the difference between the Giants being a 500 team and seeing these other teams that are 20 games over, and that's going to be Buster's biggest job. We got to stop thinking, we pick up players just to fill the roster. Okay, that's one thing, but we got to get players that fit the Giants concept. All I've heard is for the last 3 years, we got to change the ballpark. Why can't we get batters? We don't need the home run guy because we have Devers now. We have Adames. We got to get guys that can hit the gaps, hit a guy that can lead the league in doubles, a guy that can maybe lead the league in triples. You get guys like that. Well, our team now is so much better. And I think the other thing, too, is when pitchers go against the Giants, they know Devers and that's it. They're not really scared of Chapman. But when you look at Toronto or Milwaukee, all these other teams, like, shit, there's like 6 guys that can hurt me, and that's the one thing the Giants have to get to. It's
I said on the show,
game.
I'm glad you come in and you throw out the name Arise. I said about a month ago, I said, that's the kind of guy you got to get. Preller went out mid-season. It wasn't even mid-season. It was early on last season, and he went out and got him. It was
May 7th.
There you go.
5 weeks into the season.
Geez, Lou's pulling an Armand, pulling the stats out like, holy cow.
Because I remember I was upset that we didn't get it. And they gave up nothing. It's like
I threw out that name, Lou, a month ago. People in the chat, it was at nauseum. Glenn, he can't hit. He's too old. He can't hit. I'm like, what do you mean he can't hit? He hits 300 every freaking year.
He won the batting title with 3 different teams, 3 consecutive years.
Dude, preach to that choir over there. To your right. Because they came in and said, we don't need him. I'm like, you're right. We need him. We need about 5 of him. That's what we need. Not 1 of him.
If any team had 5 of him there, you'd be doing some damage. But, and to your point, Lou, Giants won 3 World Series with let's hold on. The Giants won 3 World Series when the park was bigger than what it is now. It can be done. There is a pathway. I don't want to tailor the park to the home run ball. That's not what baseball is not home run derby.
Because that's the advantage to the road team.
Yes. Correct.
The advantage would be the road team has the advantage in all ballpark.
Right. And you're going to have to go out there. You're going to look. And here's the good thing. You're talking about the construction of this team. Last year, Buster Posey only had so much wiggle room because they had to get under the CBT because they were already, 2 years over the tax, I think, right? So they were getting penalized with draft picks. And if they signed any player with a qualifying offer, you also lost draft picks. So you're up against it. So now this year, Buster Posey could do a lot more work with the roster than what he did the previous year. Of course, we still got to get a manager, but as far as the players are concerned, they got a lot of wiggle room to go out there and figure us out. And you know what, Lou? I mean, this is not out of the realm of possibility that the Giants get a trade done. Who will be involved in the trade? Who the hell knows? But the way Buster Posey has been working, he comes out of left field with shit that you don't even expect. And
nobody, including the Giants players, knew about the Devers trade.
That's huge. And that's huge.
See what we got to deal with there, Lou? Arise hit he hit 292 this year. He's slowing down, regressing. My God. 292 wins you batting
only-
titles these
The
days.
only thing is there's no
It
place.
does.
There's no place for him to play on the Giants. That's the only problem. That's it.
Well, he
That's
did
the
play
only-
second base before, and then
It's
they
hor-
moved
he's
him to
horrible,
first
though.
because they needed it.
Oh, he's bad. It's like he's got no range. And that's the problem. That kind of goes against what Buster Posey wants.
I understand.
He loves the contact, and so do I. But the problem is you got to be able to catch the ball, and he is not.
All right,
a
then
very-
if he
but
doesn't do
we had
second,
times-
who do
we had
we really have
times-
at first?
Yeah.
Tell me. I mean, why can't he play first base? Maybe Eldridge isn't ready to go 160.
Well,
games.
Devers,
we
I
don't
think-
know. We just threw him in. Then you have Devers at DH. I'm just, there's stuff out there. When
True.
you get a chance for a guy that can bat like him, again, he's the only guy in my generation, 3 batting titles on 3
Right.
different teams. The guy can hit.
Oh, he
That-
absolutely can. hit.
That's all I want to say. I know he only batted 190. I
Absolutely.
mean, he only batted not 192. It was 292, and 292 he would have led the Giants. So I just wanted to
I think
bring
he
that up
leads
by
most of the
20 some
National
point.
League.
Yeah.
And look, would I love to have him? Yes, but you're going to have to come up with some crazy way to get him on the roster. I mean, like I said, with the DH, and who knows what's gonna happen. Yeah. But it's fun. That's the beauty of the offseason because I'm interested to see the direction that the Giants choose. Just as long as we get a freaking manager, whenever the hell that's going to happen. I mean, that's still out there.
Well, you talk about you got to play defense, Eric. I mean,
Yeah.
how many more excuses next year for Ramos? Well,
it can be none.
It's
Can be
good,
none.
but he's a detriment on most days. You couldn't have a guy like him playing on one of these postseason teams. He
No.
wouldn't be in there every day.
No. And what's so weird is in 24, he played okay. He wasn't spectacular, but this year, man, his defense was just atrocious. And I'm sure he's going to work on that in the offseason. So Buster Posey has come out and said he likes him and he knows that he's going to work hard. So we'll see what happens. I mean, we don't know, but
Do you know if anybody on the Giants, the younger players, are playing fall ball?
good question. I don't know. I don't know if that's come out yet. Usually it's the young guys who do that stuff.
Because deep down, I don't think it would hurt this ball club at all if all 3 of them were out of the outfield. Lee, Ramos, the new guy, Drew, get him out of here. God, we got to get some dominance in the outfield.
Well,
I was looking, and I've been the guy backing Jung-Hoo Lee. I looked at his complete stats online the other day, Eric, before our show. Never got to them. Didn't need to in that period of talk. But I looked at what he's good at and what he's not.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he's like in the lower 10% in baseball range for a center fielder. And I thought he was tracking balls down.
When I watched the game, it seemed like he was okay.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
The statistical breakdown of his play defensively was atrocious.
Yeah, it's bad. Well, you know what? Bichette's the same way at shortstop. He might be better at second base because he's got you don't have to throw across the diamond from shortstop, so he'd probably be a better second baseman.
I've debated you a few nights over the course of the last 2 years, Eric, year and a half, whatever we've been on. I've debated you a few nights that you can have all the defense and pitching in the world you want, but if you get 2 hits a game, you ain't going to win anyway. So we got to balance things. You got to have a balance.
And there you go. It's about balance. And the teams that have the balance, a la Toronto Blue Jays and Milwaukee Brewers, well, you're going to go far.
And you notice a lot of the guys on the Blue Jays, they don't have power. So that's not even in the recipe cards. That's not in the Rolodex, Eric. They have got the guys, like Lou said, I always say, know your role and play your role. They've got a cast of characters who step up, and then you've got the big boppers who have to do what they got to do. But with the Giants, it just seemed like everybody was they didn't know the role. That's one of the problems with the Giants. I don't know if they know, each player to a man knows his role on that ball club. They're all swinging for the fence. They don't run. Who would you say is our speedster? We really don't have one.
You don't need, though. That's the thing. You don't need Josh Naylor, Juan Soto. They both had 30 stolen bases.
Yeah, but they don't play for the Giants, Eric.
Hold on. 30. But what I'm saying is you don't have to have this blazing speed. You just have to go out there and steal the damn bag. They know what they're doing. And because the Giants have fast guys. Are you going to tell me Willie Adames isn't faster than Josh Naylor? Of course he is. Matt Chapman, is he faster than Josh Naylor? Of course he is. Elliot Ramos is faster than Josh Naylor. Jung-Hoo Lee is probably faster than Josh Naylor.
Then why aren't they, if they're faster, why aren't they fast? Why aren't they running?
Because it's probably the team and not the player. If they're not getting the green light to steal, well, then guess what?
Lou, do you know how many times I was at the ballpark this year and I'd actually text Eric from my seat, and in a lot of days I'd have a good chat with Dean. I'm sure you've seen Dean on the show. He sits next to me a lot of games up in 321. They would pinch run a guy in the bottom of the eighth. And 3 batters later, there'd be 3 outs, and he's still standing there. I'm like, what the hell's the reason for bringing in a pinch runner if you're not going to run? He's called a pinch. Yeah. He's not a pinch base stander. He's a pinch. Whoa, the microphone's running away on me. A pinch runner, Lou.
Yeah, I think the Giants have really dropped the ball, especially now where they made it easier to steal bases. You know, the Giants haven't adapted.
No, they haven't.
It's one of those things where opposing teams, they steal the shit out of us. The one thing about Bailey, and I'll give him credit, he's got a rocket arm. But he gets them, but you know, they keep trying on him because it's an advantage. The Giants don't do it. You know, it's the most. I don't even know how many steals they had. Probably in the last 2 years, they probably don't have 100 combined.
Hey, listen to this. Giants ranked 29th in stolen bases.
There you go.
68 total stolen. That's Josh Naylor and Juan Soto combined have almost exceeded.
How many do they have in the season, Eric?
30 and 30 for both of them. The Giants altogether
68.
68 total? Yeah.
And they probably had Tigers. They probably had a dozen in the first month of the season too, where you know they were winning, they were doing the small ball, they were stealing. Yeah. You know, what are you going to do?
I miss 80s baseball. Teams in the 80s, Lou, every team would have a guy who'd get you 50. Every team had a 40, 50 base stealer guy. And then you had your elite base stealers.
Here we go. I'll do top 10. Top 10. Tampa Bay Rays, number 1, 194. Milwaukee Brewers, 164. Chicago Cubs, 161. There's the Seattle Mariners are tied with them, 161. New York Mets, 147. Boston, 139. Miami Marlins, 138. New York Yankees, 134. Texas Rangers, 134. And then the top 10 here, the final one, the Nationals, 132.
There was a lot of 150, 160, 170s there, Eric. All these teams with 100 more. I wish there was a way you could find out how many attempts or how many even stolen bases they had per month of the 6-month season. And because I tell you guys, the last 2 months of the year, I can't remember too many times we ran.
Not very many. There's only spots here and there. Like in the beginning of the season, right? They had numerous games where we're like, holy shit, they're running all over the place. And then all of a sudden it just stopped.
Yeah.
It just stopped.
Like it's sort of like your internet service, just stops. Just stops.
Yeah.
And then you see Eric running through Galt after the Xfinity truck doing his come back.
Dude, it's freaking annoying as hell, man. Unfortunately, my damn router's way over there.
Every time Bernice and I see an Xfinity truck now, I go, where's Eric?
Yeah. That's a fact.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So what do you think about tomorrow?
Ooh. First game, 3:08. Phillies and Dodgers. Sanchez versus Glasnow.
Dodgers wrap it up tomorrow. I think Phillies played their perfect game tonight, as perfect as they can go. And I think Conehead goes about 0 for 4 at first base tomorrow. And don't you think that I use the term perfect game? I mean, all of their top guys performed today.
And you know what? It's a righty going tomorrow. And that means Harper, Schwarber, Stott, Marsh, they should be able to feast, but we'll see.
Well, you say it's a righty for 1 inning, maybe.
Well, no, because Shohei will probably come in behind him, which is another righty. That's what I'm getting. Unless Who else would they
Unless
throw
they're
out?
saving him for the last game.
Well, who did they bring in? They brought in Bandit today, unless they bring in they brought in Dreyer today, so you won't see him. So who do they got? They still got Vesia. Who else do they got for a left?
I got to admit, Eric, I'm starting to lean your way. You got me leaning. There's not a lot of depth there.
Yeah.
I'm buying in what you're selling. I'm drinking Kool-Aid.
About Philly, they had 3 HRs. You know, they're not going to get 3 HRs tomorrow.
No.
You know what I mean? They had the long ball which came in. It's a lot different at night Dodger Stadium than during the day. So, and you know, again, we're talking like last night was nothing. This guy still is a stud pitcher. So, you know, he knows they don't want to go back to Philly. I'm just excited because, hey, it's going to be a great game. And then, you know, we have the Milwaukee who should have won today, just couldn't do anything right. And the Cubs survived. So 2 good games tomorrow. I'm excited, you know, baseball.
Yeah. And you know what? I don't know I can't sit here and tell you who's going to.
It's hard.
It's hard. This one's hard. I just don't know. They don't even have a starting lineup, or not a lineup, but the starting pitchers for the Cubs or the Brewers. So I don't even know.
It's always tough to call a winner at Wrigley. I mean, that's a home field advantage for the Cubs. But again, you got Milwaukee, right? So it makes it tough to break it down.
Yeah.
I ain't betting on tomorrow's games. That's for sure.
Yeah, I hear you.
Let's just sit back and enjoy.
Ooh,
Yeah. Tomorrow is just hey, let's see what the hell. I honestly.
And then Friday, not to leapfrog too far out, but I think we got to take a look at that. You got Friday, a winner take all. What do you think happens with Detroit back in Seattle?
Yep. And you got Screwball. That's why you have your big stud pitching. Doesn't matter if it's on the road. So.
That's why that split was so important.
Isn't like he had a great first game in the postseason, Eric. Struck out 14. His last few starts, a little timid at times. He wasn't as good. He's always a good pitcher. Wasn't great, maybe I should say. I think he's overdue for a big game. But again, then you've got home field. Contradict myself. You got home field advantage. You playing in Seattle. But I think how I started the show is how I'll end my part of the show tonight. I think if Detroit wins, it's a cakewalk for the Jays.
Yeah.
Especially since Screwball won't be able to pitch game 1.
That's right.
And it will be at Toronto.
Yep. Oh.
You know, that's why tomorrow, if Milwaukee can somehow win and knock out the Cubs and say Philly beats the Dodgers aren't going to have anything in case they win to face Milwaukee. Yeah. You know, big advantage tomorrow if you can get the W.
And on top of this, we talked about this at the Yankees Blue Jays postgame. Toronto set up. They got their number 1 ready to go for game 1. I mean, it's perfectly set up for them. And
well, if it goes 5, I think if it goes 5, they use Shohei in the 5th game, and then if you advance, then you start.
Snell.
Start Snell.
Oh, I see what you're.
First game.
See, they can afford. Okay, Dodgers tomorrow. If Glasnow is scuffling, they can bring in Shohei, and then they got Snell for game 5. Right? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm saying you save Shohei. If it's,
I guess it depends on what's going on in the game.
Depends on what the score is, but I think remember, you're talking about a team, Eric, that you look at that bullpen. I think that, like we talked about, leaving the pitcher in that game was it a little long? Well, maybe you got to balance out. You know, are we able to come back in this game? He's scuffling. Now we're down 5-1, 6-1. It ended up 8. So maybe you got to save pitching, Eric.
Yeah.
When it's time to save it. And I think you can set yourself up, because remember, if you advance and play Milwaukee, holy shit, that's going to be a tough series. I think I want Snell starting in game 1.
Yeah.
That's why they were talking. I don't know if you heard it, Lou, during the Jays broadcast. Or do you guys in the States get the same broadcast as we do up here on Rogers Sportsnet?
Yeah.
Did you get Martinez?
No.
Right.
See, we don't get the great Martinez. We get FS1.
Yeah, it was FS1.
So,
the Jays broadcast is really good.
Who was it on there?
Dan Shulman and Buck Martinez doing the game.
Yeah, you got Shulman, who's one of the best ever, and then you got Buck. They're the best 1-2 combo.
We had
that's why people in the chat get upset at me when I say Kruk and Kipe are great for us. But when you listen to some of these other guys, they're just,
They
and our
educate
guys are
you,
getting
Lou.
old.
They
They
educate you.
educate you. They're so smart and precise. I'm not saying Kruk and Kipe, but for some reason, our chat say we have 3 Hall of Famers. No, we don't. We have 1 Hall of Famer, and we have 2 guys that are great at what they do. But you're talking about Toronto's are better. The Mets are better. And again, it's just my preference. I just think our guys are getting old. Our youngest guy is really a homer. I'd rather listen to the Giants on the radio than listen to Kruk and Kipe and Fleming on TV. That's just me.
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you a question before we time out of here? And maybe I'm having a brain fart here, but if there's no reason why, so if Ohtani could come into a game and pinch hit, and then what happens? Okay, he's now our pitcher. He can hit and pitch in the same game, right?
Yeah, he's the
Yeah,
DH.
it's just if he comes out, you would lose your DH.
Yes.
Right.
No, you would lose the DH if he comes out.
Right. If he goes and pitches,
he would fill your DH role in the lineup.
But if he pitches and then they pull him out of the game, you lose your DH spot, right? That's what it is. You have to fill in that DH spot. So you got to be careful.
Right. But to start the game, so he's pitching. It's like going back a decade. Your roster, instead of him batting 9th, he'd be at the top. It'd be P hits 1. Okay, yeah. So,
and that's the tricky thing. So maybe you can't bring him in the middle of the game, because then when you pull him out, now he's out of the game as far as the bat is concerned, right? Isn't that how it works?
No.
Tell me if I'm wrong. Are you sure?
No.
I don't know. Honestly,
As long as he stays in the game, he'll always be in the DH.
Yeah, what they did.
Okay, he'll always be in the DH.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if he's
leading off, I don't think he's allowed to do that, Lou. I think what they have to do, I went to a game in Oakland one night to see him play. What they had to do was he started the game and he went like 4 innings. Guess who played right field after that? They don't take him out of the game. They move him, and the right fielder comes into the pitcher's mound, and they go, okay, bullpen, I'm replacing Eric Romo. You can move just because he's the pitcher and you're the right fielder. 5 minutes later, Eric, the right fielder, is going to pitch. Oh, no, we've decided we're going to take him out. They moved Shohei to right field.
They have to move him to a position. See, if you start the game as a pitcher, DH, then if you pull him out as a pitcher, you got to put him in the outfield somewhere. So he
had to be in the lineup. He had to be on the field.
Yes. Okay.
So I guess that's the Ohtani rule.
Or is this a new rule where he could stay in as a game? I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just telling you what I saw at the game.
I don't know.
He had to go in and play right field. And I was
being a Giants fan, we've never had this problem.
Exactly. I've never had to deal with that. Now, if I was a Dodger fan, maybe I'd know a little bit more about it. But yeah.
Lou, let me ask you one more question. I mean, I'm full of questions now. I said, one more. Just one more. How? Just like me with the Pepsis. One more, Eric. Lou, do you miss? I do. I miss the National League being the National League and having your pitcher and then having to, again, give the manager. And I don't like walking a player like tonight, Judge. Wiggle 4 fingers. Oh, pitch to the guy. What happened? Where's the wild pitch? There are factors in baseball they're taking out of the game. And I wish that we still had pitchers batting.
That could hit. Yeah, I think that. And
when I was a kid,
and what we have.
Dan Schatzler was a great hitter, and we all know what Mad Bum did with the bat. There was strategies. There was when do you take him out? It was
all strategy. It made baseball. The other thing I would still do
double switches.
I used to love where you knew the umpires. Now you don't know the umpires because the National League had their own umpires. Big Fat Joe West. You would know when he's there because you recognize him.
City.
Yeah. And then it was just one of those things where Ed Montague, you knew who they were. And now that they're all intertwined, it's not the same. It's like, it's just one of those things. So,
and you know what?
But
I'm going to throw something.
I do miss it.
let me throw you something, Lou. And I asked Eric, and I kind of
look at and Glenn. I'll tell you the best manager. Tony La Russa used to bat his pitcher 8th, not 9th. He was the only guy. He would do 8th because he said so many times happened there'd be rallies in the 9th batter, so we'd have a guy like his shortstop, because then it felt like he had 2 leadoff guys. Someone bat 9th and 1. So I wanted to bring that up, but go ahead. I'm sorry, Glenn.
No, fine. I threw something at Eric one night. And is it in my notes? I lost my train of thought there all of a sudden. What was it I asked you, Eric? Something about so I threw a curveball at Eric one night, and he was just like, and I'm like, focus, Eric. Listen to me. So, Lou, they want to speed up the game, right?
Yes.
Instead of pitching 4 balls that could factor in a wild pitch. I saw Bill Madlock one day in a intentional walk, lean out and belted one down the first baseline, caught everybody off guard. I love that about baseball. Creativity. I mean, what's creative? Nope, put them on, wiggle 4 fingers. So I said to Eric, now you got wiggling 4 fingers, just put them on, get them over there quick, just speed it up. And then they got the pitch clock. So I said to Eric, if it's the first inning and my leadoff batter is Jung-Hoo Lee and he hits a home run, why isn't he just turning around and going back to the dugout? Why is he running the bases?
Saves time, right?
A home run's a home run. I mean, why doesn't he just walk back to the if you're that's the problem with ball. It's all over the place now. Freaking rule changes and there's more rule changes coming next year now with there may be a day coming, I don't know, but maybe in our lifetime when you don't even have an umpire in there. You got one, the official. There'll be one on-field official, and the rest is all going to be computerized.
Yeah, good point.
And the people would say, no, it'll never happen. Well, look how I didn't think we'd have a pitch clock in baseball.
I don't know if I could watch baseball if you got freaking robot. It just becomes. It's already too sanitized as it is already. It would just
and somebody in the chat brings up a good point. The golden bat rule.
The golden bat. Oh my god, the golden bat.
That's a little
stupid.
Lou, it would make a mockery of the sport.
Yeah, I'd be done. Honestly, I think I'd be done with the game of baseball if they come out with some stupid ass golden at bat.
I don't even like the All-Star game. It means nothing now. There's nothing to play for. It's
I used to love it where it was for home field advantage. It helped the Giants.
Yep.
It did in 2012.
Yeah. And then you watch the NBA and the WNBA. I mean, the WNBA game, no defense. The score was like 170 to 150. And you watch more NBA, Lou. I know the All-Star game.
The NBA All-Star game. Oh, it's
the All-Star games in the NBA are ridiculous. Yeah. Like 220 to 196. Like that's not basketball.
And then they do a 3-point, the 3-point shot. You have a 4-point shot. It's all for entertainment. It's
right. So why are they putting 4 points? They did that in the WNBA this year. They had the 4-point shot, Eric. Well, that's not in the. That's not
even in the game.
It ain't in the rule book.
Yeah.
What gimmicks. I hate gimmicks, Eric. I hate gimmicks. Give me a real battle.
Yeah, baseball's been the same, since the 1800s.
I hate gimmicks.
Yeah.
That's me blowing my top. Hey, have you got, you want to rerun that video, Eric? You got that video, your buddy Tortorello or
Oh, yeah.
Tithead or whatever his name was. The guy in New
That's
York.
a good way to end it. Oh, he was excited tonight.
He had a couple of them.
He was, and I'll tell you, I give him, dude, he goes off, but he gave credit to the Jays tonight.
He's got 2 of them here. We'll do them 2 in a row. The first one's the best because when he pulls out those glasses,
click.
It's
snap the arm off.
You can hear. Yeah, I know. I'm sure he's probably gone through a few. This is great.
Fuck. Nothing left to say. It just didn't show up today after a great win yesterday. Judge did everything he could do in the series. Everything he could do and then some. Cam Schlittler was terrific tonight. Kept us in the game. Then a fucking error killed us. The Blue Jays kept coming. We just did not show up. We had fucking chances in the 6th, the 7th, the 8th. Unbelievable. Just got beat by a better team. It's always the same shit, a fucking error that killed us when it was a 2-1 game. Just always, every year, the last 8, 10, 12 years, disappointing shit, season after season. It fucking sucks.
Hey, we hear you. We know all about that. But he makes an interesting point,
There you
Eric.
go.
Makes an interesting point before you run that one. Do you notice he said, Schlittler kept us in the game? But what did the Jays do? They kept coming and coming and coming.
And the defense failed the Yankees today. It could have been a much closer game.
There's nothing left to say. We didn't show up. We didn't fucking hit after a great emotional win. I thought we would have momentum, and we shit the bed as an offense. Judge did everything he could do. Cam Schlittler was terrific. Kept us in the game in a fucking error. Of course, that's our Achilles heel. Error, always error. Couldn't get a big hit. Had men on base, 7th, 8th. Just could not get it done. Got beat by a better fucking team. It's just very frustrating, very sad that every fucking October, the last 8, 10, 12 years, sucks ass like this. Fuck!
I love it. It just
Hey,
sucks
Eric.
ass. Fuck!
Eric, first of all, that's what a fan's all about. Okay. I thought I was salty, but you got to like that. But that's what, when your team lets you down, that's what it is. But you know what? One of the things from tonight's thing that not only did he say he got beat by a better team, and then those three amigos.
He bleeds Yankees.
Why aren't the Giants looking at the batting coach for Toronto? I mean, we have a problem. Strikeouts.
I got a feeling
is that guy already maybe somebody else's possibility? I mean, that's something good where you see an opposing team who's got a bigger payroll saying they are a machine. That hitting coach, that's who we need. I just thought I'd throw that out.
And that's fine. Yeah. And you know what? I think it might be an entire club philosophy, not just the hitting coach. The hitting coach is going to help them execute the philosophy, but the players got to go out there and they got to get it done. But I think it starts maybe with the manager. Hey,
I agree there, but we complain about how lousy Pat the bat is. When you get a guy that other teams are going, shit, that's the guy that should be running our team. I just wanted to bring that up, because I never even thought about,
I don't
never
know.
thought of him. That's why I'm on this show occasionally, because I want to learn from you guys in the chat. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't know everything. That's
occasionally. Jesus, we can't get rid of him now, Eric. D-Shot's asking me a question. Is there a dunk contest for the WNBA All-Star game? There isn't, because they did away with it. Cheryl Swoops won it like 9 years in a row, and what they decided to do, like anything else, well, this is no fun anymore. So what they did was they do their 3-point shot, and then the contest, and they have like an obstacle course, a speed trial, and that thing's incredible. Okay. I love everything about the WNBA. See, you know what? I'm going to hear it anyway. Guys shit on the WNBA, and then like Dan, do you watch it? Nope. I said, well, then how can we have a debate on the topic when you do not watch the product? So you know what? I like it better than the NBA. The NBA has gotten so boring. The NBA ratings are in the toilet, eh? Nobody was watching.
It has been for a while, I think, right?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'm ready to get out of here. We got 2 more games to do tomorrow. We'll be
just
here.
Two?
Just
two? Just two. What am I going to do all day?
Yeah. Dodgers and Phillies in the first game. Yeah. Brewers and Cubs for the second game. Guys, thanks for hanging out. It was fun. We'll do it all over again. Maybe there could be a game 5. We'll see with Phillies and Dodgers.
And see, you come in here, you still hear some Giant. We had plenty of Giant.
Whoa.
You didn't have to shut me down. I mean, I know I talk a lot. But
good God. Whoops. But no, we did a little. Yeah, we didn't get too deep in the Giants talk today. We'll do it another time. Because look, eventually there's going to be news. Yeah, we got the whole offseason. We're going to eventually we'll get to somewhere with the manager, whatever.
Dude, it's Thursday. Are we in a short window or what?
Yeah, hey, man, I thought it would be done by this weekend. It might not be. It might not be. Gosh dang it, man. Whatever.
That'll be, I said in my show first, I think it was the first show today, I said, that's coming, and that's going to be a show in itself. So we'll be breaking that down as soon as it goes
Absolutely.
live.
Thanks, Dom. All right, guys, we'll be back
Thanks,
here
Lou.
tomorrow. Lou, as usual, thank you, sir.
Lou joining the crew.
Let's do it again tomorrow. Woo!
You've been watching Giant Sports Talk Live with Eric and Glenn, a Northern Lights Entertainment Broadcasting production.